Fantastic Beasts 3, The Secrets of Dumbledore dropped this weekend, and Mike and I just got back from watching it, and we have some thoughts, okay? We have some thoughts about this film, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Mike, what are your thoughts about The Secrets of Dumbledore?
Well, it is a movie. It is a
it is. Yeah.
It is a Wizarding World movie.
Yeah.
I liked it better than the second one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how much of a compliment that is, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not a high bar. It's story-wise, it's more cohesive than the second one.
Yes.
But holy cow, is there probably 3 movies in this movie, and it does not work very well. It is. I don't even think that movie's 3 hours, but it felt like it was 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it's like around. Yeah, I think it's around 2 hours and 20 minutes. But
really, that's short.
Yeah, but this movie felt like a 3.5 hour movie.
Dude, it felt like it just
like
kept going on
the pacing in this movie was brutal. Absolutely brutal. There were so many times where I was just sitting there, my leg would like start just like kicking in the theater and stuff because I'm so freaking bored right now. Like some of those scenes just went on and they just wouldn't end. I'm like, dude, just please just do something interesting. Please. Like the pacing was just really bad. It was really bad. Yeah.
My biggest complaint about this movie, about the second movie, and this is just me personally, I want more Newt. I want more Newt Scamander. And he is in this movie, but it feels like at times this isn't his movie. It feels at times like it's a totally different movie. And then then they just jump cut. Because that's the thing too. There's a lot of weird cuts where like a guy will be in a room talking. And they'll cut and it'll be a totally different scene with a totally different setting. But you can't tell at first. It's jarring. Some of it is the palette color in this is very muted. It's not very colorful. It's kind of dark and grimy a little bit. But like, dude, when Newt is on screen, I'm having usually a decent time. I'm having a good time. There's a couple scenes in here that are like goofy and silly, but it works because it's Newt and you know that's kind of what you expect. And then there's other scenes where you're like, why is Newt even here? Like I don't think he wants to be here.
Yeah. I mean, that's what sold me on the first one was Newt Scamander, because I mean, Eddie Redmayne does such a fantastic job playing that character and stuff too. He really brings that character to life. And I mean, Newt is just like he is, even with everything that they're still trying to cram into these movies, especially with the second and the third one, Newt Scamander is absolutely like the heart and soul of this series. And it feels like with every movie they're taking that away more and more. And I am not happy about that at all. So
I will say Jude Law does a pretty good job as Dumbledore.
Oh yeah, I would say that too. Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen actually does a good job as Grindelwald. I think he's more menacing and more charming than Johnny Depp's character was. Johnny Depp's character kind of felt like an unhinged like psychopath, whereas Mads Mikkelsen's character feels more like a menacing like schemer. And
I actually like Johnny Depp better still.
That's fair.
As Grindelwald, but they definitely both have two very, very different takes with this character.
Very different takes.
So
that part of it was interesting. I like this, feels like a younger, less experienced Dumbledore. But I don't know. The one thing that's a complaint for me as a Harry Potter movie fan, Michael Gambon's like Dumbledore always feels like he's scheming and plotting. It feels like Jude Law's character can't figure out if he wants to be nice to everybody or if he wants to be the scheming piece of garbage that like Dumbledore sometimes comes across as. Like this is the same guy that in like 20 years is gonna like put a child in a situation where he's gonna get murdered so he can defeat like the ultimate evil. Like
I know, right? I have a question for you. So like with these movies, like it really feels like, and I kind of feel like having J.K. Rowling being the main writer for these is kind of a problem. It really feels like these movies are not translating very well from a novelist writing the screenplays to the screen and stuff. And I mean, I know that she's working with somebody on the screenplays as well, right?
Yeah, he's the same Steve. I don't remember his last name. It starts with a K.
Yeah,
he was the guy that wrote the last few Harry Potters, or actually, I think he wrote all of them.
Right. So
he's a good writer. he transposes her work really well. But the fact is, like, yeah, you like I agree with you. The way you said it to me when we got out of the film was that it felt like this movie was written by a novelist, and I 100% agree with that. Steve Kloves is his name. Yeah, and that feeling, it's overstuffed. There's too much going on, and if it was a book, it would have totally worked because you would have had time to balance and like shuffle all this stuff. It being a screenplay that is just overstuffed, and there's no time to breathe.
Yeah,
and the amount of exposition. There is a specific character in here that I tried not to have an attitude about when they first show up, but the first thing that they do is drop a ton of exposition on you, and it's so painfully obvious that that's what it is.
Yeah,
and you're like, there are actually two scenes in this movie. One where a character explains to Newt the exact happenings of the first two movies. They explain the first two movies to Newt, who was in them. And then they're like, and then they're like, did I get that right? And Newt's like, yeah, basically. And then there's another scene where Dumbledore is talking to somebody and he's explaining a situation to somebody, and the person stops Dumbledore and says, I was there. I saw it happen. I witnessed all of it. Because once again, you're trying to explain a situation that they haven't seen. And Hollywood should be about writing movies, screenplays, show, don't tell. They do a lot of telling in this movie.
Oh man. Yeah. It's really exhausting in a lot of cases throughout this film. So I totally agree. So like, where do you stand right now with the future of this franchise? Do you hope that they make another one? I mean, are you still excited, or where do you stand with that? Because for me, I'm kind of at a place, especially after the second one, and then we got this third one and stuff. I'm kind of at a place where I'm like, man, you guys had something really good with the first one, but I've kind of lost interest in this series in a lot of ways. So
that's kind of where I'm teetering on, like, close to apathy with it, because I think this movie is an improvement over the second movie, which isn't saying much.
Yeah,
the second movie isn't great, but I think what J.K. Rowling should have done is what she did with the other movies. I think she should have set a blueprint out, said, this is where I want to go with these stories. This is the goal. This is the hope. And then let Steve Kloves, who is experienced transposing her work, write the screenplays. I think it would have played out much better than it did.
Yeah.
I think that the pacing would have been better. Everything. You can just tell that her hands are in this way too much. And I will say that's another problem with this. There are some like weird retconny things. And then of course, some very much like, this is J.K. Rowling's want. Sometimes it feels like J.K. Rowling's writing her own fan fiction. And that sometimes comes across in this movie. You can see it. There's a couple moments where you're like, this feels like bad fanfic and not like a solid concept that she had in her head.
I agree. Yeah.
So that's the part of it that doesn't work sometimes for me. You know, I didn't hate this movie.
Right.
I didn't love it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm kind of at the same place that you are. So would you recommend that people go see this in theater, wait till watch it on DVD or Blu-ray or at home, or just skip it all together?
Okay, well, this is going to be a weird one because I kind of agree with all three ideas. If you're a hardcore Harry Potter fan, you love the franchise, and you were really disappointed with the second movie, go see this in theaters. I think you'll have a much better time. I talked to actually somebody that's doing the review for geeksandgamers.com, Blabber and Collector. So make sure you go check out geeksandgamers.com, check out her review. She really liked the movie. She was happy with it. She's a hardcore Harry Potter fan. So shout out to Blab. I think that should say something for Harry Potter fans. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, if you're not a hardcore fan, I'd wait for it to come out on video if you're curious. If you're not curious at all, if you kind of hated the second one enough, I would just say it's not worth your time. If it comes out on demand and you see it and you want to watch it, go check it out. But I wouldn't say that this necessarily warrants going and see it in theaters. I don't even know if it warrants multiple viewings, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I would say wait until it comes out so you can watch it at home and stuff. Just because you're probably going to need your phone to save you from insanity at some points in this film. So so with that being said, that's going to be our reaction for Fantastic Beasts 3. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you've seen it, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the website as well, geeksandgamers.com, and we'll talk to you all in another video very soon. Bye.